So the vote's in, 47 passed, or is it passed or it passed? Yeah.
It did.
And what does that mean for you guys?
Well, I think it's interesting in Fresno County, Prop 47 was not supported. I think locally we got our message out about the effects that Prop 47 is going to have on us. For instance, it affects about 700 inmates in the Fresno County Jail. That means that they are either sentenced or pending charges that now, instead of felonies, will be misdemeanors. About 300 of the 700 have mixed charges, so they have other charges in addition to the qualifying charges under Prop 47. So they will probably be still held to answer on the more serious charges. But that leaves about 400 inmates that we need to take a look at and actually change, because it's effective now, change felonies to misdemeanors. The district attorney's office is going to be busy taking a look at their filings, changing them from felonies to misdemeanors. My concern is that now those who had been charged with drug offenses that were wobblers, the DA had some discretion on how to deal with them, won't take advantage of programs with plea deals. Now it's going to be a straight misdemeanor. There is no incentive for people to take advantage of drug or substance abuse or alcohol abuse programs.
That was one of the arguments that the people that were for this said is it'll take the people going to prison or jail on drug charges and get them into programs that'll rehabilitate them. Do you see that happening?
Just the opposite will happen. Before, there was some incentive to take advantage of going to a program. Now that incentive is gone. If they're only going to be charged with a straight misdemeanor, there's no reason for them to want to agree to go into a substance abuse program.
After we get past the initial transition here, what do you see happening for, until it either changes or something happens? Do you see more crime, less crime? How's that going to work? Are there any possible unintended consequences for this?
It's going to be hard to measure, because what we measured before in the amount of crime and felonies, we can't measure that way anymore, because now it's going to be measured by misdemeanors. I think the misconception also is that there were people in jail for minor offenses or went to prison on minor offenses, when that's not the case. If you go to prison, you've already committed a minimum of 5 felonies. You earn your way into prison. I just think this continues to be the camel's nose under the tent from people who don't want drug offenses to be illegal in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. How are these folks going to be supplying their habits once they're out on the streets and they're not in treatment and all that? What are some of the possible effects for that when they're trying to make money to buy drugs?
If someone has a substance abuse problem and there is no condition for them to be in a program, the likelihood that they're going to continue that substance abuse is highly likely. The way most people support their habit is to steal from others. And so I'm taking a look now at trying to track, are thefts going to go up? Because that's normally how people support their habit. Unfortunately, many times those thefts occur against family or against acquaintances or against friends. And that's the very sad reality of somebody who's addicted to drugs in our local area and statewide. I don't know yet how this is going to affect crime rates. Of course, we're going to be watching it. The prediction, of course, is that the crime rates are going to go up to the applicable offenses, but we'll wait and see.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Our community is going to begin living with this afternoon. It takes effect that quickly.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Prop 47 took effect at midnight today. So immediately we have to start taking a look at the offenses of the people we have in jail First responders now have to change the way they're doing business with additional citations rather than arrests on misdemeanor charge. Our community now is going to be affected directly by people not being held accountable to the level they were before, and that's very worrisome.
Do you have the specifics on how the enforcement part works? Say, previously, if you had possession of narcotics or methamphetamine or something like that, how does that play out now? Does that become a misdemeanor, or how does that actually work? Where are the lines now?
Yeah. What Prop 47, the proponents sold to the public is that these were just low-level drug offenses. But Prop 47 was applicable to identity theft, forgery, those kinds of crimes that the public is very worried about. And now, rather than felonies, they will be misdemeanors. And so
ID theft is included in these?
Yes, identity theft, forgery, fraud, grand theft. Now the amount to be considered grand theft is $950. That's significant. So livestock theft, we have an issue with our ag crimes in Fresno County. So livestock theft, some theft of crops are now misdemeanors rather than felonies. So it affects much more than what people were told by the proponents. The other thing, commercial burglary is now a misdemeanor. So if somebody breaks into a business, it is now a misdemeanor and not a felony. So the public was not told the whole truth when it came to Prop 47.
This almost seems like a Trojan horse to
take
a whole group of crimes and make them misdemeanors.
My belief is that this will save the state money because it will further reduce the state prison population. Unfortunately, county residents and our local communities end up feeling the brunt of the state saving money, just as we have with realignment. Now we have this coming along when we're just settling in and being able to handle realignment and its effects. This is it's another prison dump that we're going to have to deal with.